think you guys know what time it is. It's time for the Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge. Well, it's almost time. So I thought I would bring you into my studio and we can take a look back at the couple of projects that I've done in the past for the 5-minute challenge, and let's make a journal for this one coming up. It starts on December 21st. Now, I am not making anything or earning money from promoting the Ugly Art Club or their challenge. I just like to talk about things that I believe in, and I've been a member of the Ugly Art Club from the very beginning when they launched. And I love their philosophy. Get in the studio, make art. It does not need to be picture perfect, social media ready. It's about the doing, and ugly art is still art. And so I have missed out on a couple of the challenges. Life just gets so busy, right? So life is crazy busy right now, but I thought that I deserve to treat myself, to do something that I really enjoy, and that is making art. And so 5 minutes a day, any of us can do that, right? So we have to be honest with ourselves and say, you know what, I am going to prioritize myself and do this no matter how small the time frame is. Now, when it comes to challenges like this and longer challenges, whatever it may be, this one happens to only be 2 weeks. I find it really nice to prepare in advance. So today we're going to look back on those couple of journals that I have done in the past, and we're going to get the journal ready for so that I can work in it for 2 weeks straight and take you along for the ride. So let's take a look at those journals and then get to making our new one. Let's take a look back on some of the previous journals that hold my Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge. This is the first one, and let's talk a little bit about the journal. So I made the journal ahead of time, and it has just plain paper on the inside. I believe it's just a I believe it just has a regular, medium weight paper, maybe a sulfite paper. And this was before the Ugly Art Club provided prompts. I believe this is the very first 5-minute challenge, and I really love the abstract type of spreads that come out of this. It's so fun to look back on your journals to see maybe how your style has changed, what you do the same, the influences that come in and out of your work, and what stays around over time. I love the blank canvas that this journal gave me to be able to really play around and explore what could get done in 5 minutes. I know some of these, of course, took longer. I'm not always the best about sticking within that time limit, but one of the things that I really like to think about is doing some of your elements beforehand. Like this circle would have been done ahead of time. I just then put it in on the page. And of course, you can go back and watch all of these spreads as well. So it's kind of been fun to think about what I want out of my journal each time and what could be done differently or better each time. I think one of the important elements is keeping the journal small. So 5 minutes is really not that much time to be able to get work done. So, all right, so that was the first one. The second one, we started to have little prompts. And on this one, I actually made it so that each journal page is on its own, separate. It was not bound into this book until the very end, which really allowed me to be drippy, be messy, however I wanted that to go. And when you're not confined to the bounds of a book, it does free something up inside of you, I think. So there are really positives and negatives to starting in a bound book or doing something like this where I cut all of my paper sizes the same and then bound that in the end. I believe I have a video on that of how I ended up putting that all together and binding that into a little book. So you can see it's a no stitch type of binding here. Okay, and then on to number 3. We're back into a bound book to start with, and I just had plain papers on the inside here. But this time, instead of going horizontal, I went vertical, which was a really fun challenge for me, I think. So you can see we have prompts here, which we tried to follow along. And it's okay if you don't stick to the prompts exactly. What they're meant to do, in my opinion, is just be a nice starting point for you. I don't think this time I'm going to do a vertical again. I quite like it, but it is more of a challenge. So if you're going to try to stick within those 5 minutes, it was a little bit more for my brain to process there. All right, so now that I've thought about what I like and what I dislike in each of these methods, I can now decide what I want to do for this 5-minute challenge. I always like to do a little bit of prep ahead of time, so I've already cut out all of my prompts and I have them listed here. Now, it can be a little bit intimidating to look at a big list of prompts because they won't all resonate with you. Not all of these resonate with me. In fact, maybe more of them this time don't resonate than in the past, but that's okay. I'm not going to think about that too much right now. But what I did ahead of time is I cut my prompts out and I went a little bit above and beyond because I printed them in color and in black and white. I work with black and white so frequently that I thought having them in black and white would be really fun. Sometimes color can be a great starting point to know what you want to do on your spread, but if you get stuck on the color and feel like you can't do what you want to do, it can be a little bit limiting. So I decided to print both out and cut them both out to get ready. All right, so I decided that I like the idea of this journal here where I made the journal pages individually and then at the end put them into a finished journal. Now, I'm not going to do this the exact same way as I did on this one. I'm not going to tell you exactly how I'm going to do that now. We're going to wait till the end. But what you'll need is I'm going to be using cereal box cardboard weight. So it's just a thin cardboard. And I cut these into a size of 4x6. Any size will work. I just want them all to be right around the same size. My measurements are not perfect, but I'm not going to be bothered too much by that. Then what we'll need is also some fabric. Now, I don't know what I'm going to be using yet, so this is just an example. Something that's decently sturdy weight will be good. I'll want some thread to bind it together, and then I'll make some sort of cover for this as well that will go around the whole thing. But you're going to have to follow along and figure out at the end how I'm going to put these all together. But what's important right now to get together is, if you're going to do it the way that I'm going to, is to have these individual pages. And this is actually what I'm going to be working on each day of the project. I've not decided if I'm going to work directly on this piece of cardboard or on pieces of paper that then I'll glue on top. But this is going to be the base. It's kind of a nice weight and it will give my book a little bit of heft.